The Third Man. October 27, 1962. The world was on the edge of nuclear war. A Soviet submarine, B-59, was trapped underwater near Cuba. The U.S. Navy dropped practice depth charges to force it to surface. The crew didn't know they were practice bombs. They thought war had begun. Inside the sub, the temperature hit up to 45 degrees Celsius. Oxygen was running out. The captain and political officer both voted to launch a nuclear torpedo. It would have hit the U.S. fleet and started World War III, but one man, Vasily Arkhipov, said no. He wasn't even supposed to be on that submarine. He was a flotilla commander visiting B-59 because of an earlier nuclear accident on another sub. His experience under pressure made him calm and skeptical. He believed no real war had started. He convinced the others to wait and surface instead. When they reached the surface, they learned it was a misunderstanding. His single vote stopped a global nuclear exchange. He later said he was just doing his job. The false alarm. September 26, 1983. Soviet satellites showed 5 U.S. missiles launched toward Moscow. Officer Stanislav Petrov sat alone in a bunker, watching the alarm flashing and the computer screaming, "Launch detected." Protocol said he must report it, and then the Soviets would fire back. But wait, something just didn't add up. Why only 5 missiles? If the U.S. attacked, it would launch hundreds, not a handful. Petrov trusted his gut. He called it a false alarm and waited. Minutes passed. No missiles hit. The alert turned out to be sunlight bouncing off the cloud. He broke the rules, but saved the world from nuclear retaliation. The next day, his superiors scolded him for disobeying orders. He retired quietly, never seeing himself as a hero. The hydrogen bomb. January 24, 1961. In the sky above North Carolina, a US B-52 bomber was flying through the cold night on a patrol. Suddenly, a fuel leak and tore the plane apart. As the crew parachuted out, 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs fell toward the farmlands below. Each bomb carried a blast power more than 250 times Hiroshima. One parachute opened and slowed its fall, landing safely in a field. The other slammed into the ground near the town of Goldsboro. 5 of its 6 safety mechanisms activated during the drop. Only one tiny low-voltage switch stayed off, by pure chance. If that single fuse had flipped, the explosion would have destroyed much of North Carolina and possibly reached Washington, D.C. A single fuse saved millions of lives. The Great. In 1941, during World War II, Germany used the Enigma machine to send encrypted messages. It was believed to be unbreakable. But German operators often made the same tiny mistake. They kept repeating the same word or phrase at the start of their messages, like Heil Hitler. Those repeated patterns gave British codebreakers a clue. Mathematician Alan Turing and his team at Bletchley Park used those clues to teach early computers how to find the daily code keys faster. Once Enigma was cracked, the Allies could read secret German plans in real time. Historians believe this shortened the war by about 2 years and saved millions of lives. Forgotten dish. In 1928, scientist Alexander Fleming studied bacteria in his lab in London. He went on vacation, leaving dirty petri dishes on the bench. When he returned, one dish had grown mold that killed the bacteria nearby. Most scientists would have tossed it out. But Fleming was curious. He noticed the bacteria melted away near the mold. He tested it and found the mold released a chemical that can kill germs. He named it penicillin. Years later, other scientists figured out how to produce it on a large scale. During World War II, it saved soldiers from infections that used to kill thousands. One forgotten dish became the start of modern antibiotics. The felt pen. In 1969, during the Apollo 11 mission, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on Moon safely. While moving inside the small lunar module, something snapped. Aldrin saw that a circuit breaker switch had broken off. That switch was needed to start the ascent engine, because this is the only way to go home. Without it, they will stuck on the moon forever, and NASA had no backup plan for this. Aldrin looked at the hole and had an idea. He took a felt pen from his pocket and carefully jammed it into the switch. It worked. When it was time to leave, the engine fired perfectly. That felt pen turned out to become their ticket to go home. D-Day. In June 1944, during World War II, the Allies were ready to invade France, which was occupied by Nazi at that time. The plan required calm seas and clear skies, but a storm hit the English Channel. Commanders debated whether to delay. Meteorologist James Stagg saw a small break in the weather. He told General Eisenhower, "There will be a short window on June 6th. Eisenhower trusted him and said, "Okay, let's go." Meanwhile, the Germans thought no one would attack in bad weather. Their top general, Erwin Rommel, even went home to see his wife. When the weather cleared, Allied troops landed in Normandy. That one-day delay fooled the Nazi and became the greatest turning point of World War II. Delayed flight. 9/11 in 2001, United Airlines Flight 93 was supposed to take off at 8 a.m., but it was delayed 42 minutes because of airport traffic. By the time it took off, the other hijacked planes had already hit the Twin Towers. The passengers heard about it through phone calls. They realized their plane was part of the plan. They decided to fight back. Todd Beamer led others and rushed to the cockpit. The hijackers lost control and crashed the plane into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. No one survived. But later investigators found the plane was only 20 minutes away from Washington, D.C. If it hadn't gone down there, it would likely have hit the White House. Their actions stopped the final attack that morning. Y2K. In 1998, a small bank ran a casual test on its computer systems. When the date rolled over to 00, the system crashed. IT workers noticed the bug and warned the others. Back then, computers saved years with only 2 digits. 99 for 1999, 75 for 1975. When 99 turned into 00, the system thought it was the year 1900. That caused date errors that could shut down banking, flights, and hospitals. This became known as the Y2K bug. Governments had 2 years to fix it before 2000. When midnight came on January 1st, nothing happened because people caught it early. A small test run prevented a global crisis. Jammed bolt. In the 1960s, NASA was testing a rocket fuel system. Engineers found their single bolt was jammed in the final check. They stopped the countdown. The team was frustrated, but had to pause the test. Minutes later, one of the main fuel tanks exploded, but no one was hurt because everyone had already evacuated. If the launch had gone ahead, dozens of people on the pad would have died. That jammed bolt just saved them all. The volcano. In 1815, Mount Tambora in Indonesia erupted with massive force. It was the largest eruption in recorded history. Ash and dust spread around the planet, blocking sunlight. The world cooled by nearly 1 degree Celsius. Crops failed, and millions starved in what became known as the year without a summer. But the cooler climate also destroyed mosquito populations that carried malaria. Nature caused destruction, but by coincidence, also saved lives. The Reboot. August 14, 2003. It was one of the hottest days of the year. A power line in Ohio brushed a tree and tripped a circuit at First Energy. The alarm system failed to show the warning. Within minutes, power started collapsing across several states, spreading toward nuclear plants. A technician at the Ohio Control Center noticed strange readings on his screen. He quickly rebooted the monitoring system to reset the alarms. That reboot stopped the chain reaction just in time. If he hadn't acted, the reactors and power stations could have gone offline for months. The blackout still cut power to 50 million people in the US and Canada, but his quick thinking prevented a total grid collapse. Later, people call it Northeast Blackout. If you like this video, subscribe for more, or suggest a topic want to discover in the comment section below.